Good morning or good afternoon, Year 5. So we're at the point where he's just about to get the note out of his pocket and give him to one of the extra special guards. So let's see what happens. Feeling my hands start to shake, I pulled the note out of my coat pocket and held it out. We had to do it. We had to. It wasn't every day that you got to the Queen's palace and see her special guards so up close. But even though I tried to make my voice come out, it stayed stuck in my throat. Those are huge, said Tom, looking at the guns the soldiers were holding over their shoulders. I was looking at them too. They were long and had extra pointy ends that suddenly looked more sharp and shiny, and much more pointier than they had done just a few minutes ago. The man in the golden jacket and all the palace guards behind him were now beginning to march past us. In just a few seconds, they would be entering through the gates, and when they did, and those gates were closed, there would be no chance of telling the Queen about Emmet, and it would be all my fault. I clutched the note tightly. I could feel my heart thumping in my throat, my fingers beginning to sweat, and then somehow I began to move. I think when you're the most scared you've ever been in your life and have to do something you've never ever done before, your brain switches off and your arms and legs do all the thinking for you, which is why you feel as if you're moving underwater. That's what happened the moment I began running. I felt as though I was running underwater, and as if someone else was doing everything for me, when of course they weren't. It was all me. I felt myself clambering over the barriers in front of me and slowly running out into the red road. I could feel people's eyes turning to watch me, and a sudden breeze on my face from underneath my feet. I could feel the surprisingly bouncy surface of the road, as it was a soft red carpet, and in my hands I could feel the rough edges of the note. All around me, the sound of drums and trumpets and the crunching of boots faded away, and then suddenly I was there, standing behind the last row of the Queen's special guards as they were walking into the palace. I watched as my right hand lifted itself higher, higher, and higher, until it finally touched a red-coated elbow. And without me even telling it to, my mouth opened and shouted, "Excuse me, sir!" And that's when everything went funny, because suddenly the world sped back up, and there were people gasping and cameras flashing and hooves thundering and helicopters helicoptering. And before I knew what was happening, a looming tower of policemen with extra shiny stars on their helmets surrounded me, blocking out the sky. Everything started to fade away into a sea of black. I felt my legs wobble like a big plate of runny jelly, and a crashing in my ears began to roar as the ground rushed up to meet me. Year 5, I'm going to cut the read a little bit short now because that's the end of that chapter. And I want you to put your predictions on the respond to on the activity. So I want you to predict now what happens next in the story. So you've got the weekend to think about what could possibly happen. And I will just give you a little hint for the next chapter. The next chapter is chapter 20, and it's called The Coldstream Guards. Wow, so we're up to chapter 20 now, and we only have got, let me see how many chapters there are. There's only 26 chapters, Year 5, so we're so close to finishing. I'm so excited to see if Emmet gets reunited with his family. So I hope you have a lovely weekend. Over and out, Miss Davis.